Hey,
Hey,
we're here. We are ready.
are you?
Ready?
No, but
No,
but
no,
we're gonna try
no,
to be.
not even close. Okay.
I'll try my
Sorry,
best.
sorry I'm late, chat. I was writing this fucking psychopathic recap that you're about to hear.
A psychopathic recap. Oh, in that case, I better bust out the conflict storytelling theme.
Ooh,
All right. I take it you want the recap, yes, Marlowe?
Yep, let's fucking get into this. All right. So last episode on Sagas and Solace, I didn't write that down. I just thought it'd be a good intro. We found a floating island. Laza saw, I think, Coffee probably as a ghost, and then we met a lich named Cornelius. But mostly during this time, Marlowe had quite the internal dialogue, thinking to himself to sort of ways to fight back the existential dread of the demands of modernity. You know, ought I be one to fall through the cracks of circumstance or ferry myself upward? It was at this point I thought of Stephen's massive hog. The phrase cream came to mind. Cash rules everything around me, as they say. Such a truism of our fated time. Perhaps at the end I shall finally know the meaning of rage against the dying of the light, rather than rest upon that as an apt metaphor for rather mundane emotions and a mundane existence of a man whose soft eyes yet never felt what it truly means to fade out. I hold this life in my hands. Nimble hands, ash-trodden keyboard. I feel Marlowe. A facsimile of a man playing a facsimile of a man now in the halls of a great library, subject to glean knowledge of a facsimile of another man. Perhaps it is the irony of the situation, or a word I have yet to pen, that would describe the strange walls surrounding me in this form known as Marlowe. Have I ever really felt the soft warm sands of Majital? Was that a memory? Perhaps the foreshadowing of future goodbyes. Even if my soul is tied to my form, and reality is only as real as the perspective I inhabit, will I ever actually experience the soft and grizzled reassurance of a morning hand brush against the armpit hair of a conjured rabbit woman? I don't care if they don't allow smoking in this library. I was born in the image of God, and thus a refraction of the infinite. Do we even know whatever happened to Shaps? Was he too once returned to God, or his God perhaps fade back into timelessness, like a storing of a book on a bookshelf, like a yearning maw, consuming all those who know not its name, and those who strive to measure its form, eating both indiscriminately? I am aroused, humiliated even. So much knowledge. Perhaps the contents of their spines too fade into the principles of uncertainty that Shaps falls into. Everything rests under the sands. All unknowns are unknown, as if only the top layer of sand truly exists. But even then, does it really? I must shake off the haunting allure of Weepawak, hone my senses, ponder the finite knowledge within our grasp that unravels itself in front of me as an infinite spiral staircase of maddening revelation that begets revelation. Perhaps I shall put crayons in my ass like an antenna to connect to the eternal realm. It would be just as absurd as leading a life of modernity. Crowns, as some kids used to call them, back in my youth, when time wasn't a tyrannical force of oppression. I too grasp for this youth, in this library. Pitiful man with a handful of crowns. To stop a domino mid-fall, a moment of held breath. I think of my party. It is us. We are the saviors of this universe. We are gods, you and I. Now the melancholic psychobabble of a supple wandering bard, Cornelius, you son of a bitch. The ancients are watching. Watch me then. Watch me paint space with my art and paint time with my verbiage. Witness me rage against the dying of the light. The world is a beautiful place, and I am no longer afraid to die. Marlowe will kind of shake off this internal dialogue and he'll look back and say, hey, Cornelius, before we go downstairs, I got a question for you.
Have your inspiration.
my cheeks
Good.
hurt. That was good.
Lord, that was.
You ever just want to? You ever just want to shit and smile at the same time? That's how I feel about it.
I wish I could snap. I feel like that would be very appropriate right now.
This was all in Marlowe's head. None of y'all heard that.
Nobody heard that. It was in my head. Roleplay, guys.
Monologue, guys.
Marlowe
Yeah,
was
feel
just
that.
staring for like a solid 5 minutes and then went, "Hey, Cornelius, I got a question."
Just feel time and space warping around his head. And he shakes it off. Yeah, good. Nice.
All right.
Here we are.
Let me send out my ping, where people lose their fucking minds.
God knows I am after hearing that.
Don't they know what time we start? They should just come in. Be ready for this kind of thing.
One of my personal favorites in that was the feeling of armpit hair in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a bunny girl. Remember that part?
The part. I
mean, that part.
I
doesn't
deleted
even,
that part.
That part doesn't even matter to me. He's feeling around for armpit hair.
It's a soft brush the backside of my pointer finger. A little smile appears on my face as I know that everything's okay. It smells like rabbit. I smell like rabbit.
Oh, no.
Who am I?
I smell like rabbit.
Smells like rabbit.
Oh, that was a thing that happened in my brain.
Hand over
Rabbits
here.
don't smell good. Just so everyone's aware.
Ugh.
Yeah, I think Cornelius could hear that because he can read minds. He's like,
He left you to your private moment. This isn't the first time some guy's done this. Anyway, he will look over. Yes, what is your question?
Either your star clock is 3.5 years fast. I'm inept at looking at simple patterns, or for every year in Corvanus that passes, 2 years pass in Calcatesh. Is this a fact?
Well, that depends on which lens you're looking at it through.
The mildly educated one, I guess. Or one who doesn't know the answer to this.
Oh, that wasn't a trick question. It was the answer. Time shifts differently depending upon that watches.
That just got complicated.
No, it's simple.
This is especially
You know.
true if you view it in the linear sense, not the cyclopean sense.
It's like how time goes by faster when you're having fun or you're distracted.
It's something like that, but it's far more metaphysical.
Oh.
Does it affect everybody on Corvanus?
It affects everyone everywhere, as per the Edict of Raquel. Or perhaps not her edict, more so her labors.
So why keep track of time if it's just a property of a perspective? Is there a true time?
Of course there is.
Or is it...
It is what is attempting to be repaired, my good fellow. The reason that we keep time is that we aid Raquel in her labors, however that we can.
So, wait, is it who perceives it, or is it where one perceives it?
Is
Both
this
are
relative
true.
in that sense?
Both are true, and even in the relativity of how we would view time. Each is an important aspect for Raquel to repair, for all.
Oh, wait, is time damaged somehow?
Yes. It has
That
been
feels like-
damaged. It has been damaged for, well, a long time. He'll smile.
Ah.
So, does the nature of this damage mean that certain areas move at different times, or...
Indeed, it is the only way to ensure that when the tapestry was damaged by the enemy, that it could still move forward. The forces that cause the wheel to turn are dependent upon the engine of time. Should it fail, then all things would fall into stagnation, and Lord Death would have to do his dark work, as it were.
So, for every day that moves on Corvanus, 2 days moving on Calcatesh is a property of my mind, and not an inherent property of Corvanus itself, effectively.
Perhaps this will explain better. And he'll beckon you to follow him. As he does so, you will see that there are the 7 continents displayed across the great world map of Verum, just right there in front of everybody. You will also see that there is sort of another splotch, an 8th continent, that is still not quite yet fully formed. He will gesture at each of them, and you will see that each of them have a separate clock. And then he will explain, each of the continents are in and of themselves within their own zone of time, a bubble, if you will. And when you travel from one to the other, the experience of time shifts, dependent upon the numerological clock, which is located here. And he will point to each of the different continents. And you will see that each of the continents, except for the 8th, have a specific designation to a powerful number, a numerological representation of that continent. And they go from 1 to 7. And depending upon which one that you are in, time is experienced differently as per the Edict of Raquel in order to keep the central time, which he indicates the entirety of the map, together. I suppose you could refer to that as true time, or time calculated by the astral calendars.
Thank you for illuminating me.
What number's Corvanus?
Well, Corvanus is 5.
Right.
That seems to line up with a few weird things.
You see, the numerological significance of each of the continents is far more than just a simple tracking of time and their zone in which they exist within it. But it is also I suppose you might look at it this way. There are power words, depending upon which of the different languages that you use, that enact one's will upon the waking realm, similar to how one's will can manifest itself within the dream. Well, the same is true of numbers, although they are far less stringent, I suppose. They are more universal. And as such, each and every single facet of existence has a number associated with it, which is represented by the numerological power. And from that, many of its different vestiges will form all sorts of different things.
I'm very interested in pursuing this line of thought, but we perhaps continue downstairs where we're headed. I did interrupt you.
It is my purpose to answer your questions. If you wish to continue, all you must do is simply let me know.
If I might beforehand, Marlowe, if all of these are moving at different speeds, would this create friction at where they meet? Time speaking.
No. One of Raquel's many labors is to ensure that time is kept within an appropriate flow. When one moves from one time zone to another, it is true that their body may grow tired. It is true that they may even witness a change of season. But it is such a way that each transition is kept true and that person is unharmed. That is, unless, of course, they choose to cross the abyssal ocean outside of the Week of Peace, in which case, unfortunately, they fall to the Leviathan's purview. Their hunger is not something that Raquel can resist.
Those things. Gotcha.
Yeah, run into a few ourselves along our travels.
Well, shall we?
Seems like, Sorry, what were you saying?
I was simply going to ask if there were any further inquiries.
But I think finishing what you were going to show us about the ancients be the best thing of priority. This seems to be interest and necessary for us to know about if we are to help tackle this problem.
You will nod. Alrighty. Let's see. Before I go, I have to review what your exact questions were. I have them in here somewhere.
They're in the thread.
General.
To open this set of notes.
This music.
Knarh has the two that we were working on right before we ended session.
God, how do I look at threads again? Okay.
If you hover over
Yeah,
general.
I found it. I found
okay.
it. Okay, let me review these one more time. All right.
We had an order. Which one we wanted to go first with?
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for is the order. I don't see that in here. Unless they're unless like as a party or because I have your individual ones, but which one did you guys want to do first? That's what I'm
I think
looking for.
Knarh's set of questions was the best one to start with.
The sort of conglomeration I wrote out, I think we can do them in batches rather than have to go back and forth for similar topics. I figured watch the Whispering King like movie thing, and then we'll do Swig and Knarh and Mouse. They're very similar. They flow into each other. Then Gruul and Marlowe, and then do finish the tour while we look up upgrades for Chrome.
All right then. Here we fucking go. All right. Whispering King.
Also, I have a question for chat. I don't know if I don't have it up at the moment, but when I speak in the mic, does it sound like there's a rushing of air? Because I was looking at the old episodes, and it's like there's an airplane that gets turned on every time I speak. I turn the gain down, so
It doesn't sound that bad at
yeah,
all.
hopefully it's better. Okay, cool.
There's so much potential here. Swig, have you given thought about what kind of knowledge you'll leave behind in the library?
No, I have not. I don't know, what kind of knowledge are you guys leaving behind?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I know things that the library wouldn't already.
I was hoping to work together with Luke, perhaps make some updated maps. We've traveled much.
Marlowe.
Who's Luke?
His name's
Yeah,
Marlowe.
you
Marlowe.
don't want to know that guy.
Are you Arisen as well? One of them double names. But yes.
Are you asking me legitimately, or was that like a joke?
The Luke was just a mistake.
That was a joke.
Oh, I have something to leave behind. If it counts for all of us, then I guess we're in luck. If not, then I would keep in the back of your mind something to leave behind.
Thinking about
It has to be nonfiction, so you keep that in mind.
All right.
Okay.
So eventually, as you make your way down the stairs, each time, Eventually, you come to a point in which all of the different bookshelves have changed and shifted. And then Cornelius will state, here we are. Now, let's see. No, that's not it. That's the wrong way. Here it is. He approaches this bookshelf here. Take a book off the wall. Start taking a look. Let's see. I've seen Whispering King. No, that's not quite. That's not good either. Let's see. Here we are. Once more, it seems that we found ourselves into the tier section. Oh my goodness. So prolific. He'll open up that book. Let's see here. Here we are. And so it was that I walked through the plains and valleys and found my way. No, that's too far away. And I must know the truth in this. Here we are. My experiment began much as it should have been, as Cornelius reads out. A reconciliation with my own ignorance. Today is the day that I have discovered the true nature of ley lines, and how they are represented on the great tree. It would seem that my initial purviews that each continent has different veins of these ley lines dependent upon its creation and birth were correct. But how true it was to witness the numerological representation of such things. Furthermore, I have discovered that my original propensity to bring 4 is insufficient. I cannot see them sealed without a 5th. As such, I shall need to create a synthetic binding to each of them, and then create the 5th one completely from scratch. It should be denoted that if I do this, I will need to find an alternative means in order to lock this, a key in order to lock this lock properly. Cornelius will look up. Are we about where you needed to be?
That sounds good.
It's
Complicated, but
fortunately, we're missing much of the context, so...
Yes, I understand, but I want to make sure I'm in the right spot of what you're actually asking.
Beginning of his creation, yes.
Very well. Let's see here. Context. Let me find some context. Here we are. Another journal entry. My travels continue. I have found that with the proper supplication of these ley lines, that I might yet, in fact, attempt my experiment once more. I have learned much since the last trial. I am hoping that this time around I will not waste so much genetic material, and that the corruption performed, if there is any, should at least not scour the entirety of the continent. Thank goodness for the propensity of those 3 rivers, or else I may have completely lost all of my results. I am, however, far more likely, in this endeavor, to be successful. With 5 ley lines, one can do far, far more than with 3. I have elucidated that the best quality in order to make our way is a representation of a spiritual manifestation. The binding of this manifestation to each of the main leylenic crosses in order to control the area. The problem, however, is that this particular place has yet to develop the appropriate faith of the green. Without the circles in place, the ley lines cannot be adjusted. Before the work can begin, I will need to create a supplementation of minions. Ones that can go about and handle the day-to-day. However, these individuals possess not the knowledge of druidism. I shall have to do what I can to plant it and supplant it. Perhaps Lorne will not be too cross with me for gaining him new followers, but we shall see. Shall I continue?
Yes.
And Cornelius continues. For such a thing to begin, first we'll need a recessant point. As this place has no proper world seed, I shall have to see a new one created. And so, I shall plant it here, in the most isolated region that I could find. Then I shall allow it to use itself to permeate the Druidic faith, to spread this out to the humanity that is cussed and bulking upon this very plane, and in addition to that, I shall endeavor to envelop a spiritualism to worship the very entities that I intend to implant. Note to self. Require more genetic material. Suggestion. Use a Taladonic reference. Perhaps I could simply elicit some, or requisition some. Shall I continue?
Question. Do we have understanding of what he means by genetic material?
Oh, right. You're not quite caught up on that. The best way to put it is flesh. He requires a specific kind of flesh.
Would this be similar to what is on the grove? The first grove.
Well, according to what I'm reading here, the first grove is a facsimile, a false grove, created specifically to spur on the Druidic faith long enough in order for these individualistic spirits to be anchored and garnered, so that the ley lines could be controlled properly. What's curious, however, it seems that he has had success with 4 of them, but there is an entire section dedicated to the 5th one. Shall I continue?
Please.
Yes.
Also, you guys can ask questions at any time if you want.
Absorbing information here.
Zorbin.
I'm Zorbin.
Zorbin.
I'm absolutely Zorbin. Alright.
When you said that there wasn't a 5th, are you talking about the spirit or of the circle of druids?
The spirits.
Gotcha.
The ones that you have up to this point know as referred to as the ancients.
Yeah, the ancients. Okay. Good.
God damn it. Sorry. Alrighty then. Let's get all this open. Okay. And so, Cornelius continues. So, hold on one second. Let me not lose my place here. Okay. See, make sure that's good. Sorry it's taking me a bit. I just gotta double check everything.
It's all good. Accuracy.
Because I know everybody's fucking leaning forward listening to this shit.
I've been locked forward this whole time.
I've been making coffee.
You've been making what?
Coffee.
I'm tasting, dude.
I'd heard something else as well, and
I thought he was
We'll
said.
move on.
I thought he said I'm making coffins. I was like, oh shit.
I could do that too.
Somebody going.
I'm
somebody
undead.
Gonna
I
die
need somewhere to
today.
sleep.
Somebody's dead.
coffee coffins. Hmm.
Okay. And then the tomes continue. The journal continues by saying, let's see here. It would seem that the plantation has worked correctly. Already there is a generation of druidic interests. I have appeared before the appropriate leaders and elders in order to cultivate this belief structure. Within just a few short years' time, no doubt, this religion will spread far enough that the green faith will be supplanted. Lorne should be satisfied that he and his particular contuent are being upheld, and indeed, I do not think he has even noticed that the world seed that I have used does not match the one that he is approved of. It would seem that the Duke of Detay is not quite so omniscient. However, I have very little time to spend, for though he may be fooled now, it will be, of course, unavoidable when all of the aberrations start showing up, so I must move quickly. The supplementation of Bestia, Venator, Serpens, and Redere has happened quite well. I am concerned about a few things, but it would seem that their supplementation have taken root.
Can I interrupt for a moment?
Yes.
There was a moment there where you listed off several words. What do they mean?
Bestia, Venator, Serpens, and Redere. Oh, the translation from Taladonic is the beast, denoted here that the name of the beast is more of a title, really. I don't have a name here written. Venator means hunter, or in Corvin that would be Joss. Serpens is serpent. And then finally, Redere means laugh.
So
Marlowe will cast tongues to try to understand these as he's reading.
And then he will continue. Let us see here. He goes onward, stating that the use of Solace is not something that he wanted to do so, but it was a necessity. There is no way to garner genetic growth fast enough in order to supplant the needs. It seems that he is unable to wait for births. Oh, right. Solaris means crime.
What form of crime was planted? I'm not sure how that works.
It is referred to as a flesh crime. It is a common word to use to describe Crowley's creation, the Depthar.
it sounds
gross.
self-explanatory.
Seeing as how there's no other questions, he will continue. It seems that he is concerned with its use but has no other form. Oh, this is interesting. He has a specific denotation here. And then, reading through the words of Tyr. Grand fortune this day. I have discovered something. Something that I did not think was truly possible. While it is true that the iteration turns and more of the seven must be born, I did not think that I would find one so willing to assist me. It would seem that all things considered, the poor chap had felt betrayed by one of his friends, this grotesque little upstart. It would seem, however, that in the concordance with the seven, the infected one has come to me and has offered to aid me in my experimentation. This, of course, is several leaps forward. Who knows how many years that I have saved trying to collect a sample that naturally inherited the seven's power. To have one come to me means that we can finally begin to make true progress against the enemy. I shall have to make a note here to see to Beladan's family. You will look up. Shall I continue?
We know of the title of the few sevens, and Beladan is his family name? Do you know which amongst the seven that they represented, color-wise?
One moment. I could attempt to find that for you. He will let that book float in front of him while he begins searching through the library for other ones.
Knarh will bump Marlowe for a moment. Run it by me again. The seven are people who saved the world. Yeah.
Yeah. The time before our own.
Mhm.
Everyone who fought against the enemy.
And at one point, Matheria was a seven?
Yes.
Okay. Knarh wraps her head around this construct.
In Calcatesh, probably many other places, at least places aware, they're revered as a god. That symbol you were looking at is effectively a reverence to that godhood. However, my understanding is the reverence and worship is more towards the idea of those who came before us fighting against something. It's a respect for the past, in some sense.
Oh.
Alright, as Cornelius continues his search, eventually, he will stumble upon a tome. Beladan. You said surname?
Yes.
Well, I can only find one evidence of a person named Beladan in these tomes, and they bear the last name Callan. It appears they are from Saphira, I believe.
Any bells?
I believe that was the merchant, the blue, if I remember correctly. Let me go through my notes.
Scrolling, skimming. Saphira,
Yes.
the merchant, Blue Cross.
Yes. So from Saphira.
Your question, not what color they were associated. Presuming that they were of seven, they must have been associated with a specific color. Was Beladan the case, in this sense?
I don't have records of it, but I do have that there is a bit of markings about him as doing quite a few things. Apparently, traveling many times to Alderfife.
Thank you.
Let's see if I can find him in the records of the Seven. He will snap his fingers and a book will appear in his hand. He will start to look through it. Let's see. Does anybody want to look at that book in his hand?
I'm gonna just lean over his shoulder. No.
You will see.
Yeah, I'll go over.
You will see that the tome has a 7-pointed star at the front of it. And as you read through it, make me perception checks.
Wow. Dang. Cursive. Can't read that.
Tongues didn't pick up any of the Taladani, right? Just for...
No. Tongues doesn't help with extraplanar languages. Okay.
What's up, Chrome? I mean, Mr.
That is
Dennis.
fine. My allegiance to the Burrow King is gone. I'm no longer arisen. You can call me either one.
Well, our allegiance wasn't given in our form. Our form simply
All right,
strengthened it. Oh,
Marlowe. As he begins to flip through the different pages, sorry. As he begins to flip through the pages, you will see that he is quickly combing through what appear to be the 7. Each and every single one of them. A dossier containing who they were, what they did, everything. And as such, please select a number out of 77.
I was just thinking that, but then I was like, I shouldn't do that because... I'll pick number 7.
Very good. Alrighty then, let's see. Group 7. Okay. Please pick a number 1 through 7.
Oh, shit, okay. Sorry, I
Whichever
just did
one of
the-
you is looking
the
at
math.
it, yeah, you know.
We did math in my head. Okay, fuck.
Say 5. But
Yeah,
No.
5.
No,
Went down.
Now that I know, how the numbers are lined up, can I change the first 7? The first number?
Okay.
For the 77, number 1, and then for of that first number 7.
All right. For a brief moment, as you start to gaze the page, Cornelius will notice that you are watching and will stop flipping, where you lean in. And you will read the page. It is written, Tacitor Vile, Human, Rogue. Iteration completion, 26%. Accomplishments. Defeated a 9. Saved her brood. Dealed with the Vandit King. Saved Ondisburg. Traveled to Stettin. And let's see here. Fought in the Wyvern War. Perished by the Wyvern King. Legacy. Established family line. Marker of color, orange. Forbearance is children. And finally, legacy power. He chose... Fuck, which one was it? And you are a... See, he was orange and he chose time. Okay. Legacy power of time, which gave him time. Marlowe feels a strange sense of warmth as he finishes reading about Tacitor Vile. The words nearly leap up off of the page, and he feels his soul refract. Congratulations, Marlowe. You have gained a legacy power. And I will now add that to your character sheet.
Do I know this, or is it just kind of like a eerie feeling?
It is an eerie fearing for now. Let's see. Okay, you also bear the chromatic key, so I need to update this as well. Give me a second.
Mr. Cornelius, pardon my perhaps nervous enthusiasm leaning over your shoulder, but would we be able to make a copy of these books? Understand that there is power held within many tomes, but more one for information.
Certainly, I could, but one would be destroyed. It is the way of
The
these
original?
things. Oh no, the copy. This tome was
so it
penned
works?
by this tome was penned by greater hands than I.
The
Alright.
information protects itself?
Indeed, it does.
So this is more powerful than the sagas. Okay.
And then he will look over. I believe, Nara, you also said you wanted to look, right?
I did.
Okay, pick a number between 1 and 77.
Yeah, I'll take the one that Marlowe left behind. I'll take 7.
Okay. And your choice of number. 1 through 7.
5.
Okay. Alright. Let's see here. I chose the... Alright, let's see here. And I need to go to... All right. What you see on the page is Atreus, Elven Fighter. Completion rate, 28%. Accomplishments: defeated a 9, destroyed her brood. Avoided the Bandit King. Avoided the Wyvern War. Faced the golemic threat. Destroyed the Master of Twists. Excuse me, not Twists. Cysts. defended the library of Kasael, slain by the Mages Guild. Inherit of color is Blue Cross. And congratulations, Knarh. You have achieved a legacy power. One moment, please. Actually, what was his? Did he have any... No, he didn't have any children. He didn't have any of the other things. Okay, that's right. This is the guy... This is one of the guys who just left.
When did the library cross that? Oh, we're here.
Okay. You feel the same strange sense of warmth permeate through your body. You feel that your soul refracts.
Steps.
All right, and so Cornelius will continue to go through the book, as you were the only two who asked to look over his shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
One moment, please. Okay. Eventually, through all the shifting of the pages, Cornelius will stop. Group 68, Player 3. And we'll point to the third member. The inheritor of the blue, I believe, if memory serves correct. Beladan Callan. Druid. Half-elf, I believe. Although his form changed in the middle of it. And with that, Cornelius will continue, and will say, "It seems that he was a 7 after all. Located here. And that would certainly explain a few things. Of how he could survive being infected with the Depthar.
Alright.
And these Depthar and the flesh crimes are separate?
They are the same, more or less.
And they're part of the great experiment.
Indeed, the great experiment performed by Tyr, as of which the experiment is now complete. But it would seem that according to Tyr's notes, that the fifth spirit to buy the ley lines was indeed this Beladan character. However, what is curious is that in his journal entries it denotes that out of all the spirits, this was the only one Tyr could not directly control, could not dominate. And therefore, even though the recipient was willing, Tyr could not risk that this individual would use its own will against the experiment. And so, when the spirit partook of the curse, or the infection, and became a part of the experiment, Tyr had their body chained. And according to this, had their head remained sealed away, while their body was taken elsewhere, supplanted with other genetic material, apparently one from a celestial, inevitable being. Interesting. But it would seem that a piece of this individual was left behind, and according to my calculations, when the colors were resealed within their prism and the violet released their prisoners within the herald, each of these souls returned to their prerequisite body. It would seem that the body was all but destroyed of Beladan's original vessel, save for their head. One's logic would dictate that the fifth spirit is now awake, without its master's presence.
Oh.
As a hit?
Possibly.
Wow. Into some interesting things around here.
Some rather gross things, honestly.
I hope that answers your questions. Do you have any others on this subject, whilst I am here?
Were these the only experiments that he was doing upon the continent, or were there others?
Well, there are many experiments that Tyr performed. As to whether or not they are relevant, it does not seem clear.
But I try to list everything out in a logical, chronological order, so we don't do loops in notes. If you want to give it an overlook, keep them.
Alright.
So Nara would be next.
Not wrong. That was my next question. Alright. So Leylon's had to do with the grand experiment and his flesh crumbs and all that. We've learned how the experiment started. We're learning about Whispering King. Where did it all go wrong? Where did the ley lines get wrecked?
From the implantation of the false seed, of course. The ley lines have been out of, disarray since the beginning. The druids, however, according to my records, have attempted to keep them from falling into utter chaos, and indeed, for a long time, it seems that they were able to keep their heads afloat, as it is said. But with the rise of Mytheria and the destruction of the druids, the ley lines have only gotten worse. It would seem that the druids are even unaware that the false seed is the true culprit for the destruction of the ley lines, or their corruption rather, and the Mytharians do not even perceive of the problem of Leylenic ascension, viewing all of magic as evil. Unfortunate. So much damage from a simple misunderstanding.
And that false seed is at this stillborn grove?
That is correct.
Okay.
The name World Seed seems a bit self-explanatory, but if we're to fix this, would we need a new world seed, a true one?
Difficult to say. I will admit this is where my particular expertise sort of sway away. I'm not a master of life, you see. Quite the opposite. But let me see if I can find anything in my records. I will tell you the process of healing the ley lines will be no easy feat, no small one either. First, one will have to deal with all of the root causes, the symptoms, if you will. The rampant aberrations, the infectious sort of mark that you bear upon your very body is a representation of this. But, presuming that one is able to stave off the aberrations so that they stop exacerbating the problem, one would then need to travel to the stillborn grove itself, remove the rancid world seed, and replace it with something, well, pure. A new world seed would, of course, be amazing, but I doubt you're going to find one. Such a thing will be quite difficult. I suppose that there are other supplementive objects one could use, things of great power that are able to produce life on a vast scale, but such things would be difficult.
Easy enough. Got it. Hack our way to the problem. Get to the grove. Okay. Roadmap to success. Says I.
Okay. What's
So
your
wait,
next
wait,
question?
What was the context in which the first Green Oath was taken? Because last time we met a Leviathan and he couldn't come near me. Was it due to the oath? Maybe help me out.
Cornelius will nod. It is the same oath made to all of those that would follow the Green Faith. You are a guardian of your world. In this case, not the entirety of the world, in so much as the specific piece that you are a part of. One of the various rules that the Leviathans must follow is that they cannot stray. Most specifically, they cannot manifest themselves completely within a material plane, as they are an astral creature. However, some are able to sustain themselves long enough to either garner followers, manipulate political events, grab someone and eat them. Such things are possible. But generally speaking, that's a no-no, and he slaps his own hand. But, as it were, such beings are constantly looking for ways to press the envelope, so to speak. But even the Leviathans do not stray to anger the leader of the Green Pantheon. Very, very few beings have ever directly challenged mighty Lorn, as Lorn is a direct lieutenant to Lord Death himself. Very few. But some do. It is most likely that the Leviathan that you encountered did not wish to incur the wrath of the Duke of Decay.
Okay. I had another question. Do you have a record here on the lost circle of the?
A lost circle? You mean a lost druidic circle?
Yes.
Well, which ones are lost in your purview? Which ones do you know of?
Which ones do I know of? Hold on. It was glass. Oh fuck. No.
Oh no.
Fucking waffling.
Oh no.
He didn't study for the test. He didn't study for the test.
I have the circles that we do know.
Okay,
Quick,
go ahead,
hand
Carl.
it to Lurker.
It's glass, wave, stone, and flame. It's the ones we know.
Fuck. And he will sadly look down and just glass, wave, fire, and stone.
No worries.
Cornelius will nod. Well, then the one you're missing is the 5th one. Circle of Dreams.
Oh.
A most important circle, as it is the one that binds all of Druidism together. That
What
way,
happened? Why was
Druids
it
can
lost?
communicate with all other Druids. Say again.
What happened? Why was it lost to Corvanus?
According to my records, it was intentionally left out in the Green Faith. Probably a machination of Tyr to ensure that the Druids could not catch wise as to his plan, and therefore
They
could
would
not,
have to-
could not communicate with their brethren across continents.
They would have to communicate through him, and thus he retains control.
Precisely.
Would it be possible to bring it forth?
Well, of course, if you could convince an entire people that their religion is wrong.
I see.
He'll nod sagely as you understand the weight of such a task. Also, are you guys pogging? That's a great lore drop.
I'm
Very good.
frantically writing cliff notes.
I'm once a druid too, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Now you know my secret.
He was a druid, he was a bandit.
I
he's
was a
been
druid.
2 types of undead,
I've done a lot of things.
been around the world.
OP is the guy in the corner saying they don't know that I'm a prince.
Yeah, they don't know.
They don't know. I'm king where I'm from.
I use all my vault money on you. I find you.
My vault money.
Nice.
Seems like the druids here have had a hard lot from the very beginning.
Well, they have. I would say the Sharkai druids have had it far worse, but it's not a competition.
What happened to them?
Well, they're gone. All of them.
Oh.
Oh,
Indeed. Which is why their world, continent, is so... Their entire realm is a wasteland. For that very reason. Unfortunately, they are unaware completely.
Was that the 8th continent to you that was on the...
Oh no,
world
Elder
map?
Sharkai is one of the numerologically represented. Ugh. Sorry, I don't have lips. It's hard to
To say
that
that word without a tongue, yes?
Indeed.
Well, that would seem to be it for me. If anybody else.
By the way,
Well-
if you look on the map, Elder Sharkai is 3. Sorry, there's so many lore points coming together and nobody's looking.
I am
So,
frantically
wait.
writing.
it's still possible for the lands to barely survive, but still survive without the druids, much like Corvanus did. But even then, previously, it had no world seed. How exactly was Corvanus surviving without either?
Well, the worlds were created in the primordial sense. A world seed does not necessarily create a continent, although it can. A world seed is the induction of life, sentient life, more often than not. And a world seed sometimes is not even a seed. It is a catch-all term used for a great generative process.
Like colonizing?
No, not quite that. Well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yes and no.
It's like taking an ant queen and putting her somewhere, and suddenly you have lots and lots of ants.
An incredibly
Right.
mundane example, but yes, I suppose that's applicable.
Nara
I'm
nods
halfling.
in agreement. Like, that makes sense.
So could have
Yeah,
these false world seed been some form of greater form of these flesh crimes? Some form of greater life that was implanted? Or
Well, let me go
mockery
look.
thereof?
And just open a book, start looking. Let's see. World seeds, world seeds. Oh, I have to go to the tier section again. Oh, my goodness gracious. Let's
Yo, a legend. I can transcribe all this after the session if you want to ask your questions and stuff.
It's fair. I'm doing everything. We're good. We're good.
All
I'm
at
going
once.
along with these questions.
He's doing 5,000 calculations and they're all wrong.
They're all wrong.
It was a calculated risk, but man, am I bad at math.
Rolls die 4. Spot on.
It would seem that this particular world Sorry. Hold on a second. I'm getting a text!
Is that Arcadum?
Wait, as in some book is floating by your head and just writing to you?
He's got a magic box. He's a magic skeleton. What's your point?
I don't know. Sounds cool.
Kind of want one.
Would you really call it a box, though?
Well,
More of
you
a-
know,
I wouldn't be able to have one of those. I'd spend too much time on it.
a little flat glowing rectangle.
May not have a lot of intelligence, but I'd have a lot more after being on it 24/7.
Maybe to call it sort of a tablet.
You youngsters on your magic book.
Alright, so... Anyway, sorry about that. What were we talking about?
I was questioning whether or
God
not this
damn it!
vault was
Please continue, I'm sorry.
the nature of the false world seed could have been
Oh,
possibly
yes!
a bit
Apparently
of
it was a piece of the Feywild. Or more specifically, an experiment within the Feywild transferred like an organ from one body to another here. And he will open a book for you to see. And you guys see something that says, The Legend of the Alice.
Oh, that leads into a question of mine now, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, and you're next on the list, so...
Oh, now
Wait
we
a
really
sec.
gotta call Rasputus. Now we really gotta call him up.
That's called The Legend of the Alice. Okay. Hold on a second.
So he did
Alice. That's not just a name, is it? It's like a
A title.
not a title. Yeah, thank you.
The Alice.
We've heard of this one before, possibly even passed to locate it, but another issue of its own. So he experimented upon some part of the legend, or this seems strange.
More so that he has specifically taken the experiment that he has... Hold on, let me bring it up for you. God fucking damn it. I keep muting it, and it just keeps talking to me.
The box, it's evil.
Hold on, I have to mute my phone.
It's coming alive!
Alright, sorry. Oh my goodness gracious, so unprofessional. Alright, let me open these books for you, and we can figure this out. And then he'll start to show you some stuff. So it would seem that Tyr, in an attempt to create false life, took one of his experiments, the false maidens, took them to the, let's see here, to the Feywild during the time of the Alice, in which case an experiment was done, in which he kidnapped the Alice-to-be in order to turn her into a false maiden. This, of course, unbeknownst to him, I believe, is a sister of one of the 7. Let's see. I could actually tell you which one it was. Let me open this up. Let me see here.
Oh.
Hmm, 50. 51 and a group. Gryup. Where on it? Where are you? And I'm so sorry.
I need you.
I cannot sleep. I cannot dream tonight. Oh, here we go.
Well cultured.
Ah, here we are. The sister of Orson Oakenshield. Human cavalier. Fighter? Paladin? Strange. All of these are checked. Quite a busy boy. Yes, Orson Oakenshield. His sister was stolen from the Feywild. She was to be the next Alice, transported as a false maiden in order to try and create false life. When that experiment failed, he supplanted it and placed her within the confines of Corvinus as the central point of the stillborn grove. Let's see. Orson Oakenshield was the inheritor of the Green. Completion rate, oh my, 47%. That's quite a bit. Accomplishments, defeated the Dragon of Nine, defended her brood, defeated the Vandit King. Oh my goodness, married the Queen of the Shadowfell. The audacity!
Don't know what that is, but he sounds
I
important.
shouldn't say that out loud.
You might have to put that on your list, Chrome. Marrying a queen or something.
Sorry, I had to get that out of
married
the system.
one. Well, she wasn't a queen, but she was enough.
I'm sorry, I sort of
Oh, it even says here that he became king of the Feywild. That's strange. Normally a mortal
worries.
can't become that. My word, that would explain why he was able to marry her. Anyway, yes, that would be the answer to your question.
Right. This is opening up a slew of new questions.
Feel free.
Alice's, right? There's gonna be a new one. Yes.
Yes. Although it's strange, it would seem that when the Alice was taken from the previous Feywild, the transition of the prophecy was supplanted as well. How interesting. The actual thread of fate itself was supplanted here. I'm curious if even such a legend could be fulfilled. After all, there is no Jabberwocky on Corvinus.
How would one find an Alice?
Well, do you know any little girls?
Looks at the Twilight Mouse.
I'm not a little girl, I'm a woman.
You're short. How old are you?
23?
A little girl.
Excuse me, young lady of 20. What?
I think she just means, in stature.
I hardly imagine that little and girl is what he meant.
Look at Cornelius. How young did you mean by little girl?
What? You're both incredibly young compared to me. Don't look at me.
Oh. Okay. Then.
You're both fetuses. No, you're both like errant thoughts in a penis. I don't know. Anyway, the point is.
Wow.
What?
Crude.
Do you not have a father?
I agree.
Yes, but the thought of him and my mother doing
The thought of
things.
his willy gives you the willies, eh?
Ugh. Yes.
Well, when you're ready to
That's
grow
what I
up,
thought.
you can ask me other questions, like how babies are made and whether or not
I
this is
know.
worth my time.
How
I
are they
wanna ask
made?
a skeleton about how babies are made. But
Oh, yes, because I've always been a skeleton. I've never fucked.
He told us he had many times before.
Can we stop
You would not
Upsetting.
believe the bones that I've had.
upsetting the powerful lich who's attempting to give us all
My
the information
word,
we
did
have
I
asked
really
for?
throw it back?
He's not. He
I
doesn't seem
rattled my
attached to you.
rib cage on quite a few hussies, if you must know.
Good, very impressed.
I absolutely buried myself in the...
Yeah, this sounds like a Marlowe type person.
Anyway, any other questions?
Did you have more? No, or
Well, can an Alice be any little girl?
Oh, it doesn't have to be a little girl. It's just, generally speaking, the prophecy denotes that one must be a pure young female. And, hold on, he holds up a parchment. And you have to be good. According to this. Although it doesn't say what you have to be good at. Oh! One's alignment, I see.
Oh.
Oh, don't worry, alignment restrictions are silly anyway. Just go out and, I don't know, pet some dogs and feed some homeless people.
Alright. So you find this Alice.
Yes.
What are their purpose?
Well, their purpose is to slay the Jabberwock.
What's a Jabberwock? I'll do this one question at a time.
Jabberwock is a terrifying, chaotic dragon-type creature. It's a representation of destruction and the spirit of humanity, or excuse me, life, I suppose, in this case, overwhelming the forces of entropy in a constant struggle where life must always win. Yes.
Alright.
So is this because the Alice... So wait, the false seed, she was kidnapped to make something of the sort because she represents the continuality of life, and the Jabberwock gets finality?
Which is why her presence is powerful enough to spur on druidic creation. And indeed, why the prophecy seemed to have transferred itself with her. It's a most interesting conundrum. It does not happen a lot that an entire actual thread of fate is supplanted and placed elsewhere. But, after all, as Tyr would say, nothing is forbidden. A stupid saying.
doesn't sound all bad to me.
He has 3 rules, and he spouts them constantly, and everyone claps for him like he's some kind of damn poet. Do you have any idea how many things I say in a single day? I shit better quotes than that, and I don't have an anus.
Oh yeah? What are these quotes?
Disregard wenches, acquire profits. That's one of my personal favorites. Also,
Practical.
if there's grass on the field, she has terrible hygiene. Or is too young. Stop. Whatever you're doing.
Ah, I see a hustler.
Indeed.
But you have a course I can learn from.
Well, if you must know, you can sign up for my Patreon. I, for one, adhere to the Sigma skeleton route.
We're gonna just build a Patreon for Cornelius Blackfire specifically.
Look, here's the thing, right? Here's another one of my favorite quotes. Why spend time going around meeting a girl, convincing her that you're worth having around, when you could just summon the dead?
I'll take these quotes to my heart.
It's so much easier. Do you have any idea how many beautiful women are dead?
All of them.
Nearly all of them. At any point in time, you could just walk out into a graveyard, summon yourself up a model the likes of which has not been seen since. And then you plant yourself in the vapid remains of her skin.
You've been dead for a long time, haven't you?
I don't want to hear any of your backsass, accidental dead boy. Why don't you go into a city and perform communications?
I deny that this information is already read into this
I can
library.
read your damn mind, and I've got to tell you, it's a small fucking book.
Ooh.
And it's
Now,
still being written.
I actually have a question.
Yes.
In a similar vein of topic, actually.
What, about his mind?
No, not his mind. About your previous suggestion of going into a graveyard. I have a question. You were mentioning Traveler Souls earlier, and
Yes.
I have a few lead-ups to a big question.
Okay.
Does Captain Lamont of the King's Eye have a Traveler Soul?
No.
Okay. Does Taka Karunomuro, a foreigner from Galeas, but recently of the Pale City, have a Traveler Soul?
Who the fuck is that?
My mentor.
Oh. No.
Okay. But the Risen, Captain Lamont, and others, many, many others, were brought back by the Solace of Souls.
Yes, by the laughable level of magic found in Corvallis, yes. Are you trying to get me to resurrect someone?
Not... Well, that would be awfully convenient.
Just fucking ask!
It would be convenient, but I don't want... I imagine you have to have the body.
No.
Really?
No. With sufficiently powerful magic, you don't need the body. I could wheel anyone back to life with enough magic.
Then in that case, I had other questions, but I'm going to drop those in favor of this one. I have this amber locket that was handed to me, and I was told that it would lead me to my heart's desire. Why does it think so? And she'll hand it to you.
A genuine amber locket. Laza will nod. Cornelius will nod at Laza, as they both have NPC knowledge and will nod at each other. Well, unfortunately, I don't know what's inside this, and you won't either till you open it. And whatever it is, it has been specifically made that it will only open when you have found your heart's desire. Whatever the fuck that is.
But
it what?
Changes every day.
Well, yes, because you're young and stupid.
Understandable. Then how would I do it? What if I chase it in one direction and then it changes and points me somewhere else?
Well, then I guess you've wasted what precious time you have in your life then, haven't you? The point is that if you knew the answer, then the entire point of the amulet would be lost. It's about the journey, you dithering halfling. Not about the answer. It'll open when you find it. He'll put the necklace around you. You'll figure it the fuck out. Or you won't. I don't care in either case. Insight check, please.
Let's see here.
You sense that he cares.
Well, then, since it is, in fact, the journey and not the destination that matters...
Oh, all right, fine, I'll tell you where to go next.
I will pull back on my old question, because I would like to do it myself.
Do what?
Get him back.
Oh! Is that what you think? No, here, let me help you a little bit. There is no power upon Corvallis that I have seen, due to my divinations, that is capable of bringing back your lost mentor. The magics I have here could, quite easily, but then you could never see him again, as he would be unable to exist in the same continent of what you call home. So if you wanted to be around him again, you would have to give up everything you ever knew and loved from behind, because he could never venture there with you. Because if such a being is brought back, the magic that sustains their life due to the restorative properties of resurrection would overload them and make them explode, and most likely cause a major magical event to tear across Corvallis. Who knows how many people would die from that?
Then I have been assembling a plan of sorts in our journey here. tell me about the Melted One in the Pale City. He's some form of aberration.
Open some books. Let's see. Melted One. That's one of the maidens that resisted death upon the final calling to Mytheria, as it were. The Melted Ones are the results of the ley lines becoming so aberrant that the maidens sacrificed to sustain the livelihood of the High Priestess are not dying properly, and they are coming back as mounds of melted flesh, trying to warn people about the truth of their hideous religion.
Agreed.
How
Do you
many
have any
are
other
there?
questions?
How many are there?
6 it seems. Although only 2 are actively mobile, the others are trapped in the earth that they were buried in.
That makes it easier. This one is very mobile. I think
Most
that's all
likely,
I
what
need.
ended up happening is that those 2 were freed by probably some nefarious people digging them up for valuables, no doubt. Or selling the corpses. There's a lot of corpse selling that happens in the Pale City.
Yes, I know about it. If I were to track down the one that I'm looking for and were to find a way to destroy it, separate it into what it's made of, which is apparently lots of people, and I were to ring, say, the Solace of Souls or a similar thing over those remains, would I get him back as a risen, at least?
Why would you want him back as a risen?
Well, it's halfway.
He'll throw bombastic side eye at the risen.
Better than nothing. And better than having to leave everything also.
If you can do all of those things that you just said, then maybe. Who knows?
Then I have a plan, and this journey has not been a waste. Thank you very much, Mr. Cornelius. Anyone else have questions?
Sure thing, Daughter of Tilt.
Who the heck is Tilt?
You don't know who Tilt is?
That's a...
I have a new
bottom.
question. Who's Tilt?
My goodness. So ignorant. Tilt is your deity, my girl. The deity of all your kind.
My kind little girls? Or my kind halflings?
Halflings. Small people. Puntable people.
I see.
Wait, do all races have a deity?
Of course.
Oh.
For the most part.
Well, if you have a book about Tilt, I suppose I
Oh,
can sit
fine,
over
here
here
you
in
are.
the corner
He'll
and read about it.
He'll throw one at you.
Good, perfect.
This is the actual link for you.
Yes, good.
I will send you
was
the
looking that
actual
up.
link. I'll just
Or
go ahead and send
Look
you
over your
that.
shoulder.
I'll put it in general chat for you. Right there you go.
Excellent.
That is
Thank
your
you.
god.
Good.
Are these gods creators or overseers?
There's something of a little bit of each, I guess.
Mr. Chrome, you
are
will
there?
like this one. Look at this picture.
Hmm. Interesting.
Anyway, if anyone else has questions, feel free. I'm going to be reading this for a little while.
I mean, off the same vein, what gods are there? Did Corvanus used to have gods before it all became Mytheria?
Oh, all right. Here we go again. Time to sit the fuck down. You have a lot to learn.
Well, I am one of the dumb ones.
All right. So, in the greater concourse of Verum, there are several deities. And they are represented through the various different pantheons. The White Pantheon, representing deities that have dominion over the goodly aspects, such as justice, goodness, redemption, all that boring shit. And they have a natural conflicting nature with the Black Pantheon. They are Glory, Rune Ferris, Veyron, Videric, and the Seven, which technically speaking is not a part of any pantheon, but they are good leanings, so I suppose you could count them. But the Seven are revered by nearly all creatures in all pantheons for their sacrifice against the machinations of the enemy. Next we have is the Grey Pantheon, which represents those deities that represent morally ambiguous concepts such as fairness and luck. And they are oftentimes the most interfering of deities, constantly getting involved in shit that isn't up to them. They are Eos, On, Ezekine, Kahili, Wandox, Sakukius, the Matron of Fate, and Nero. Then we venture to the Black Pantheon, which is much like the Good Pantheon, and it's a oppositionary force. It is a pantheon that represents the deities that have dominion over the evilish aspects, such as tyranny, madness, wrath, and generally being awesome. Their deities are Babylon, Crowley, Lorita, Olakin-High, and Woad. And then finally, we have those that belong to the Green Faith. The Green Pantheon, as it was. I suppose you might say, primordial set of pantheons. They are the bearers of the old laws, which are be a good host, be a good guest, respect nature, hunt for food, not for sport, and leave the dead to rest. Their deities are Gazenarok, Gwena, Inca, Siloe, Talvin, Vinsk, and finally, the leader of their Green Pantheon, Lorn, the Duke of Decay. And then finally are the lesser deities, the ones closer to mortal kind. Although they may not be as powerful as some of their others, they are by no means lacking in their own might. And they are Astaroth, Cassius, Falael, Raquel, Tilt, Toman, and, I suppose, if her clergy continues to not fuck up, a possibility of even your Mytheria being added to that pantheon, although, quite frankly, we'll see if she's up for the task. And there you have it. Those are the known deities of the world in which you live.
Of the world?
Well, yes, there's more than one world.
Are there things called unknown deities?
Well, of course there are other deities. Deities of other planets and planes.
Looks at Marlowe and just like, Marlowe, I'm sorry that I've been rude to you before.
You don't owe me an apology. Or at least I don't think you do. You operate from the knowledge that you have. Here we are.
Can I borrow that book of deities?
Oh, sure. Well, remember, you can take it with you.
Yeah, no, I just want to study.
I hate to put things on your plate that you didn't ask for, but if you could add the Violet Saga to that as well.
We already got it. You handed it to her earlier.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
I'm gonna read this, but I'm listening. Who's next for questions?
Oh, I remember upon reading in a temple some time ago that Mytheria was a cleric. Do we know to who?
Never perks up.
What?
Mytheria. She was once one of the seven, but her title, I believe, was a cleric.
Yes.
Most clerics, from my understanding, pertain to a greater being.
Or an ideal. Yes.
Oh. Does the librarian here know to whom she, or what she held to?
Well, to the light is what the tomes say. So most likely an ideal based, or perhaps some form of manipulation from the enemy, which seems more likely as she was the traitor.
So she originally was a cleric of the enemy? That seems beyond dangerous.
No, you misunderstand. She is a cleric of... In the tomes, it is stated that she is a cleric of the light. But what is more actual is that is an ideal that she adhered herself to. I suspect that since she is the traitor, the light was a representation of the manifestation of the enemy's machinations. It most likely appeared to her as this entity to control her actions, which no doubt led to her use of the violet energy, which of course led to her traitorism and where we are now. It is the way of the enemy, very subtle in its movements. And
her usage of this power was said to have sealed the demons? Do you know the nature of that sealing? Just a closing of portals? Or?
As with most things, the path that you are currently on, this hellish place that the continent has become, began with the best of intentions. She sought to gather a fighting force to face off against demonkind, but demons are not so easily defeated. And so the light appeared to her, she became a cleric, it gave her power and might to overwhelm them. But, of course, as she started to fight back, the demons fought back, so the demons became more powerful, so she needed more power, and thus the enemy tricks her into eventually betraying her kin, all with the goal of sealing the demons and saving the world that she loves. You can see how that worked out.
I can't say I don't relate. Sometimes a girl wants something.
Yes, and sometimes they don't know what they want.
Sometimes they don't. But once they do, woe be to them who get in their way.
Yeah, or bone.
Yes. What? What?
He'll adjust his skull. Eyebrow wriggling.
Ah, yes. Bears herself back in the book. It's not a very long book. I've read it like 4 times now.
Knarh passes her book over and goes, here, we can share. This one has like all of them, apparently. I don't like this one. It has too many eyes and tentacles. Evil knowledge cultists.
Oh, you mean that one? Yeah.
The Telry one.
So, if
scowls.
I'm understanding some of this, Tyr took one of the 7 who willingly volunteered themselves, experimented upon them, removed their head, and used it to become an ancient, to which he then needed to chain it.
No, you misunderstand.
Okay.
Tyr was feared because the only one of his experiments, within this case, that he could not directly control was the one that was inhabited by the soul of the 7. For you see, the 7 bear the enemy's power, and while it is a terrible burden that eventually destroys them, it does give them quite a few exceptions, such as their will is unbounded, meaning they cannot be bound so easily. And so, Tyr had to come up with more literal bindings to ensure that his experiment did as he bade it to do.
And this was to control the cascading energies coming out of our ley lines?
Indeed, to give focal points as well for the druids in order to make their circles too. But by in the same course denying them the ability to speak with their greater brethren across the other continents. Truly, Lorne is pissed, which is probably why he resurrected those people. despite how dangerous that is in the current state of your continent.
Those people?
Oh yes, Lorne selected a group of vagabonds, resurrected them, and is now telling them to do all sorts of who knows what. But it's not my place to question the Duke of Decay.
So are they those you mentioned active now?
Oh, they're active, yes. I'm not sure how much longer they will be. Eventually, the fact that they are resurrected is going to catch up with them, although maybe not before they finish their particular duties. I have been noticing, however, that there is a presence of the reminders, and, well, that's a problem.
And those are...
The reminders are the remnants of the colored energies, of the prismatic presence, as it were. The colors have been long since sealed, and which is a good thing, but the memory of their presence has returned as well, along with the souls that the Herald released. Those memories, which no longer had any vessel to go to, eventually became reminders. A new and final defense to keep safe the knowledge of those that might use the colors nefariously, as the Seven will no longer be in the iteration. They are called reminders for that specific purpose.
Well, thank you, but to return to Tyr, do we know why he was trying to collect so much magic? To power something?
To defeat the enemy, of course.
So
all of his experiments were focused upon the defeating of the enemy.
He wished to turn the place into a battery? Or power source?
I suppose you could look at it that way.
It seems he has little care for those he affects.
Indeed, he does not. Tyr is a brilliant mage, probably one of the best creation has ever seen. His commitment to defeat the enemy of all is also commendable. However, even to someone like me, the extent that he went to, his service to this greater good, caused him to do horrifying things. Things that challenge imagination. But in either case, it is what it is.
Did anyone else have questions? I think most of mine are, at least on the topic, are satisfied.
I think Marlowe's up and next in line. Are you here, Marlowe? Poke, poke, poke.
Sorry, I'm distracted. Didn't you have a bunch of questions for him, Gruul? Like show him your acorn or something?
Well, we need a world seed. I don't think grove seeds are going to help.
Or just kind of leans back, puts down the book for a second, turns around.
Cornelius just looks at Gruul.
Well,
Cornelius said we need a lot of life energy. What do you think these things do, Gruul?
Well, I mean, they make a single forest, not contain the entire, life force of a continent.
wait, we have like 5 of them. We're just not put all them together as one.
We're missing one. And Telry still has his.
4.
Knarh just holds up an acorn and goes, "This would help, right?"
Cornelius will look incredulously at you. He will lean back his skeletal skull and will laugh. Yes, of course it would fucking help! You have the ability to make a new grove in your hand!
Uh-huh. That's
Yes!
what I thought.
Where did you even get that?
Puts it back in her pocket.
Oh,
Thought
we
you
all
knew
have
How
that
one.
about I tell you this? It's a bit of knowledge I'm gonna leave behind. Walks back.
Oh,
toward
I'll
her.
just look it up. Let's see here.
You see,
Dang it.
they have all of history. I don't know what kind of knowledge we're going
Wait,
to leave behind.
I was
You already have
honestly-
knowledge on our travels?
Of course!
I was actually kind of hopeful that
It is
that was
you
like
that finds
birthday
solace in the sagas, after all.
Marlowe blushes.
Well, shit, it's not updated. Well,
Interesting.
Oh, do we all have to leave something behind? I know this is a pedantic question, but I do want to figure this out.
no, just your entity as a personage of togetherness.
Okay.
Oh, no worries then.
And then he will put a book called Sagas and Solace back on the shelf, next to several others.
Interesting.
And
Well-
shitters are in there?
I guess this is more of a story for Marlowe to tell, seeing as I didn't understand half of what you two were talking of before she handed them to us.
That's part of
Well,
the
what?
exchange there, Gruul.
The lady who,
Matter, matter.
points.
The Hatter Mad?
That's the one you're speaking about, right, Gruul?
Wait, are you asking me to tell a story? I cannot follow what you're saying at the moment.
Not right now, on the way out.
Oh,
Oh, no, I have that taken care of.
well,
Good.
we kind of threw him off for a moment with the acorns, and he's questioning us on it now.
All of that is going to be covered in the book that Mr. Marlowe is going to hand him on our way out.
Oh, I guess that's something.
That will not. Giving accountants of the updated Saga of Solace, not as a form of exchange. You just take it. Actually, I need to
What?
make a copy. But
What? That's how we leave. Don't just give it away.
Be right back, bathroom.
Well, we can give it now,
I have something more valuable to give.
and then later we can just leave, since we
Well,
have already left something.
If possible, perhaps just hold on to it in case your backup or your primary source here doesn't actually show fruit, I guess, so to speak. If it doesn't work, don't throw it away immediately.
I'm not throwing it away. I'm giving it to the lich who's giving us down this information. And hey, if I'm trapped here forever because this gesture was insignificant, then so be it.
Hey, well, the rest of us would rather not be stuck here for eternity because, the world's ending.
Well, then I'd suggest writing a better book than something that would make the conversation flow easier.
Guys, we all have our own talents. Yours is writing. Confusing the shit out of me.
I'll be very frank. I would rather have him a copy of the current events of the Sagas of Solace so that we may have an easier discussion. Less
I think
running in circles. I would rather have that happen than guarantee my way out of here.
if I can say a word, I think we are thinking too hard about leaving what behind. It perhaps could be simple. We might be overthinking a gift behind or some piece of knowledge.
He also mentioned
Marlowe
that,
he'll wiggle his second scroll in his hand, the one that's sort of tucked in the armpit. He says, I got it taken care of.
if you believe so.
I have my faith in Marlowe. He
You haven't disappointed
reasonable
yet.
as he is, but all good and well.
But one thing that makes me worry is he did mention that there are other symptoms that will also have to be dealt with. Broken Brothers. What little I know of, they are horrifying cursed locations. Perhaps also by these aberrations. I don't think
Talking
we
about
can.
recent events or as
Uh,
it is?
Well, in order for all this to be fixed, you're at least stopped, if nothing else.
I think those brothers, that area is a first stage of corruption. Going there and fixing that problem is, well, why not just go to the source?
Agreed, but
Yeah.
Go to the
well,
source.
they
The others
mentioned that the Lorne individual sent out other individuals to work, and I don't know, perhaps we could attempt to make contact, have them do some work.
I don't think that would align with our ideas through all of us.
How so? I'm not exactly the do-it-ourselves type.
If we're trying to heal Corvanus, and they were brought back by a god
I'm back.
to heal Corvanus, perhaps working together would not be off the table. At least temporarily. If there was a way.
I want to address something now that I have a brief moment of clarity from the absolute madness that is riddling my mind at the moment. This is an observation. But I thought this was a product of Telry's heroism complex, but we seem to always go back to this map of Corvanus, this illustration of a genuinely fucked up place, and pointing at things and saying that it is us, that we can fix them. It is our responsibility to. And deliberating on where we should single-handedly as a group, I should say, heal the world.
He tends to rub off on you.
Well,
He's saying that
I hate to remind you, but we are not that capable. Perhaps we can solve a problem. Perhaps we could do something. But to keep referring to this idea of saving the world, you need to have some humility, or you're just going to get yourself killed.
And there's a difference between helping the world and saving the world. I don't intend to take this upon my own shoulders alone. Force it upon yours.
Cornelius will interject. You know, I have sat here, not here, but in like the... Anyway, I have listened to this same speech over and over and over and over again, countless times. Those that speak about wanting to save the world, and those that say they cannot, and every single thing in between. I will tell you this. None of that shit matters. There will always be something you miss. There will always be a threat that is greater. There will always be something else that will come up. The world is not fixable. It is chaos and law, constantly pushing against one another. One breaking through the other, one checking the other's power and keeping it in tone and balance. All that matters is the balance. Right now, you will find yourself in a position in which you can right a wrong. And if you believe it to be wrong, then right it. Disabuse yourself of the belief that you are significant. Because you are not. But that does not mean that you are insignificant either. What you are is potential. The waves and ripples of this world, in its many iterations and versions and variances, change depending upon what you do. No matter how detached you pretend to be, no matter how extravescent you pretend to be, and no matter how righteous you believe to be, irrelevant. Seek your beauty, seek your grace. Defend what you love, destroy what you hate. These are things that are expected of you. These are things that will happen whether you wish them to do or not. Your fate is upon a weave, and though it is not determined, its threads are there beyond your inclination and beyond your manipulations. You are washed at sea. You will not survive or succeed fighting the wave, but rather by riding it. Cornelius goes back to waiting for you to tell him what else you fucking want.
That was a pretty good quote.
That was really good.
Just nudge him in the
Really
arm.
putting some competition on tier there.
Wipe away a single tear.
See? Exactly what I'm saying. He just says, nothing is forbidden, nothing is sacred, and nothing is impossible. And everybody loses their fucking minds. What does that even mean? Nothing is forbidden. Who's forbidding it? That's too many fucking questions.
It means there's hope.
Oh, yeah, I get it, alright? But even then, that's not true. Because even if... The one that gets me is nothing is impossible. Bullshit! There's plenty of things that are impossible. At least for you. Maybe not for me, but there are things that are impossible for me that aren't for you.
I suppose that's why we work together then. Cover all
Like, did the
bases.
background TV just say communications as it came through?
Word. God, I will dunk you in a fucking toilet like you deserve.
Oh, man, beautiful.
But he's just repeating what I'm saying, Marlowe, in I guess far grander and capable words. We're capable, and what we're capable of, we may overestimate or underestimate, but we're still capable. And I think that if we don't use that capability, we don't do what we can, we're dooming the people we care and love about to fates that they didn't need to suffer.
You completely missed my point. My point is pick something and do something. He just illustrated a better point, I guess, than the one I was trying to make. But
We're deciding here.
what about the Broken Brothers? What about the Meat Island?
Gruul,
Like,
Mr. Nininoth,
deliberation?
what do you love?
oh, Jesus.
My family, what little left of it, and always a pleasure, Marlowe.
Do you love all of Corvinus?
I love its sights. I love walking through it. There's much of this place that I hate, but that is...
But you love it
Oh,
for
gosh.
what it is and how it is.
I'm not beyond its love for its changing either. The snows come and melt, leaving behind what was hidden. The swamps will dry up one day, and something else will change. And there's beauty in that of itself. It's my home. It's the sights I've seen. This place matters to me, and those who live in it. It's a little else than that.
You want to save it.
I wouldn't be
Or-
here if I didn't want to.
Right then.
That's what matters.
Yes.
We'll take it one at a time, or you will. I have
there's-
one thing that I want to save,
Well,
but until we get there, right wrongs and things, you know,
well,
be big damn
Twilight.
heroes.
Twilight, from what I've heard and what you've said today, I think we are a bit more alike than you'd know. But I hope you can help them, or at least put them to rest, knowing that they are happy. Understand that having them next to you might be something that you wish, but sometimes spirits are happier sleeping. They still cherish the time they had with you.
It's a thought. We shouldn't
As an ending.
waste Mr. Cornelius's time.
Yes, of course.
And she will sniffle.
You mentioned something earlier, though, that caught my eye. Or ear. You mentioned something about 13 clocks and 13 winds. Could you elaborate on that? Seemed important when you brought it up about the enemy and such.
Yes. They represent the iterations that are left. Or rather, the total. Yes.
And these iterations are what?
They are the conducting of time. The recyclical nature of creation.
You mentioned the cycle and time and Raquel. So am I to understand that this has to do with the enemy somehow?
Oh, no. Well, at least not anymore. We are currently on the 7th iteration. That means 5 more after.
And what would it mean for us to move to the next one, or whenever we move between them?
That is a question I cannot answer for you. I do not even think the library knows the answer to that question.
Perhaps it's other stories to pick up. Like
Most
ours.
likely. Most likely.
Any other questions?
Everyone else is cleared. You mentioned that we're all refractions, and that these refractions can, I guess, hold within them different souls, or something of the sort?
Negative. You hold within you one singular soul, which has refracted to different facets. Some of you only have one. Some of you have more than one.
Is there a way for one to know if they have more than one?
Of course. You must look at yourself through an appropriate mirror.
Is there such one here?
Of course.
You'll look to the rest of the party. Does this sound interesting to anyone? I mean, what does it mean to have these refractions? Does it change one or power one?
It just simply is. It is one of the few aspects of creation that is unknown. No one knows what makes a traveler's soul happen. We can only see what happens when it occurs more than once.
Shit, sorry.
Well, I guess before we run away, does anyone else have any questions? I think I have truly dried up my questions.
Mr. Laza.
Laza will nod. Marlowe?
Can I borrow you for a minute? I need.
Oh, all right.
You seem to be, not insane, I guess.
I do try not to be.
A bit distracted at the moment. There's a lot of things I'd like to ask. Begin to spiral, so to speak, in knowledge. But the entirety of this library catches the corner of my eye, and it keeps egging at me. Do you know what Ezekiel speaks of in terms of this library? You seem to have already known that it was in relation to Corsael and his sons.
Well, indeed. This library is a sacred place to Ezekiel, to all the gods of knowledge. It is also a place that is specifically unallowed to be touched by deities. Directly, of course. Neutral ground, as it were.
I remember a lot of things. It's kind of... I guess you could say that's my talent. Although I do forget a lot of things as well, but... I feel that I am much like Mrs. Mouse. However, I have reached the end of my journey, so to speak.
Have you?
I think so. When we first got here, I had the memory of the first day when I was very young, and I realized that there'd be some time in the future that I would go to sleep and never wake up. And that sudden, same rush of adrenaline, kind of fear, looking at this place. Everything I cloud my vision with to avoid thinking of that again. I remember losing touch with people like you, people who strive to do good in the world, and felt some kind of kinship with those who strove to distract themselves from that. And the others, those who would take from the world while they still had the breath to do so. Even Tyr. The sort of semblance of good and evil kind of fell away.
Are you saying that you don't see a point in going forward?
Well, I thought of good, Mr. Laza. And I think the real good is remembering things. Taking care of and passing forth the memory. Because at the end of the day, that is the best that could be done. I think everything is in service to that. And I think Ezekiel is perhaps one of the few people that I've met that truly understands that. And we're standing in a place that is a lifetime's worth of memories, countless lifetimes worth of memories, and I doubt what good I can do. This is the greatest good I have ever seen, Mr. Laza. My personal aspirations to recreate something like this in that stone you walked in once, it's already been achieved by another man. If I was younger, I would have been jealous. I would have been upset that my name could not be plastered upon it or something else, but now I'm just lost.
If I may, I think...
Please, Mr. Laza.
I think you may have forgotten the aspect of our Lord. You see, This library, yes, it is quite impressive, and indeed holds to what you described to me, one of your objectives, but not in its entirety. You remember when Cornelius spoke of family, of lineage, but no sons were named. And indeed, this might have knowledge of the world, but only its major players. What of those that are thrown aside by the currents of greatness, those that are lost in its wake? They too have stories, they too have suffering, they too have good needs to be done. Do not forget that Lord Ezekine, one of his titles is the Discarded, for he was thrown away, much like those that are not important enough to be in such a place are thrown away. I see in you, Marlowe, something that Cornelius cannot be, for his opinion is biased. You heard of how he spoke of the Black Pantheon. If there is one thing that I have noticed in your movements, one thing that I think is both endearing and frightening, is you have been able to maintain a level of neutrality in your approach to the world. I, of course, believe that there is good in you, and I see it, but I also see that you make room for the darker parts. You do not stand in the light, nor lie in the darkness. You sit in the place between, the edge of light and shadow, and a better place for you to be. You look with eyes that see the broken, the shattered, the discarded. Look to them instead. As you said, if you were younger, you would have been jealous, so with age you must notice the truth, that there is no such thing as perfect omniscience, even to the gods of knowledge that we serve. There is always something forgotten, something lost, something discarded. I see in you much of myself, which is why I think we're such good friends. I saw the Minotaurs discarded, their place in the world broken, unfairly taken from them. I traveled with them so that their history would not be foregone. Whilst you spoke with Cornelius, I searched this library myself, trying to find semblance of them. And yes, the library tracked their birth, their struggles. But that was it. It spoke not of the great families, the binding of the horns, their songs, gone, save for that which yet remains within my head, and what sounds can be made with my trunk. You are not lost, brother, because you are with Ezekine. We seek the lost. We find them. We remember them. That is what I believe when I look upon you.
Thank you, Mr. Laza.
Man, we be rocking tonight, guys.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
There have been some good ones.
Yeah.
I suppose I do have a question then, Mr. Cornelius.
Yes, and what is that?
You gather my thoughts. You spoke of Traveler Souls, the potential would there be a way to contact others, not just our own refractions, but other ones? Perhaps a sending spell? You can locate them?
Oh, you wish to speak to the other traveler souls?
If able.
Oh, that's there's a whole floor which you can do that in. You want to go see it?
Yeah, we can put that on the docket.
You can always come back here. It's not like I'm gonna get you.
I mean, I think most of us have asked our questions. That's not purely research.
I mean, it's about time for the rest of the show and tell of all the other rooms.
The tool.
I have short ones. They're more if you have this here, or if you're able to do this here. Things to chew on as we walk, so to speak. Are you familiar with the mechanics of domains, pseudo spaces, and pocket dimensions? I think
Yes,
they're called?
domain expansion. I know about that. What?
Is there any way that would be able to describe a process of turning a switch that allows you to enter one into a song, and perhaps from a song to a word of power?
Oh, yes, of course. Which language?
I don't know. I didn't think about that.
Oh, that's fine. We'll find you a nice one. Sharkai rolls off the tongue very well. Do you like elves? Do you like edgy ones that worship a god of death?
I've met a few back in Majatal. I believe they were the Sons of Corsael, the Mages Guild. However,
Well, then,
all
there
their
you go.
words sound the same. They like ka, Persha, or ka,
Oh, yes, yes. Kaskaleski,
You know?
skalaki, kalakalakai. Yes, very
Yeah,
good.
that.
Ugh. Terrible language.
Our blinks, that's not Corvin.
It's not language.
Is he chaotic?
I suppose-
Did I understand that? Just kidding.
You should hear what Kalkakeshian sounds like. Oh, goodness.
Along that same vein, would one be able to recreate similar rules within a space? The laws that seem to govern this library. Having people not be able to steal things and asking people to leave things behind is very good, I find.
It's cool.
Oh, of course. You can also become an ancillary to the library as well. Although that's a very prestigious process.
I will inquire more about that when the setting is more opportune as we travel forward. Well, shit, I believe that's all my questions.
Right. In that case, Knarh will walk up, hand off the book of all the gods.
No, yes.
There you go. Not
Here's the
gonna
one on
keep
tilt.
the book.
I would assume it would just reappear back into his spot.
Well, no. The idea that there's a rule against taking things implies that it can happen with dire consequences.
That's true.
Oh, Mrs. Mouse, out of curiosity, where's your compass pointing?
Right now?
Yeah.
Here. There must be something else here that I need.
I think he meant perhaps where in here. Maybe a more specific location.
I don't know. Is it pointing anywhere specific, Arcadum?
I'm sorry, what?
Apparently my compass. Is it pointing anywhere specific, or is it just to the library at the moment?
It's pointing at
My amber
Cornelius.
locket. Yes, it is. Pointing at him. I don't point.
Sorry, I don't date halflings.
You're too tall and smooth anyway.
Good.
But I believe we were going to continue
Oh,
our tour.
you wanna follow me to that sweet new room?
Yes, please.
All right then.
Oh, Laza. Sorry. This
Yes,
is what I
Marlowe.
promised this last time.
Yes, Marlowe.
Do you want to ask about the thing you saw? That you were upset about?
Oh! Oh, yes!
The thing on the bridge that freaked you out?
Pardon me, sir. When it comes to demons and such things of that nature, I was wondering, are there mirror demons upon Corvanus? Yes! Oh dear.
Is that a
That's
more
it?
dangerous kind of demon?
It is, yes. They possess quite the potent... Well, they have the ability to steal one's appearance. They can walk through the mirrored realms, which are normally only reserved for changelings. In fact, a mirror demon is only possible whenever a changeling soul becomes corrupted by greed and malfeasance and is uneaten by its hag mother. They are incredibly rare, but very devious and destructive.
Marlowe will attempt a thieves' cant at Laza, doing the breast thing, kind of like 2 hands, palms up, doing up and downs, and then long hair with twirly fingers, and then scary demon with claw hands, and then bridge with 2 pointer fingers.
Cornelius Blackfire will respond in Thieves' Cant. That was terrible!
Agreed. That's just hand motions. Oh, he said that's terrible, Marlowe, by the way.
If there were hypothetically a demon on the bridge, would you know about it, Mr. Cornelius?
Oh, wait, you mean here?
Yeah.
There shouldn't be one here. He'll immediately summon a tome and start looking through it. Are you sure that's what you saw? Laza will nod.
I did detect fiends upon camping out before we entered the building.
You detected some what?
Fiends.
Cornelius will look very concerned. The only fiends we have here are those in display in the terrarium, and even then, you should not be able to detect them. I shall take you to the portal chambers, and I'll let you peruse the traveler's souls at your leisure. After that, I must go and immediately inspect what you have described to me.
There is, the full list of planar beings. Should that be an issue as well?
Well, go
Ixnay
on.
on the,
Well, he'll kind of look over. He's been kind. I feel like we should inform him.
I gave you an opportunity to show your fucking acorn. Don't one-up that.
Look, upon entering this place, I took the time to feel out for what is here. There was fiends, celestials, aeons, humanoid constructs, primordials, inevitable, yourself, and an aberration, I believe, as well.
That seems all well and good, yes?
That was it.
Well, if you found a fiend out on the bridge, I need to make sure none of them have gotten out of their cages. Last time this happened, I had to depregnate so many people from that damn mouther. And no, before you get all uppity about it, nothing actually was... The seed didn't take root. The last thing I need is a debate here. Follow me!
Miss Knarh, before we go...
Oh, hold on, they have to roleplay.
As,
I'm sorry.
every time we are talking and Telry comes up, you get very quiet.
Yeah.
Did you ever tell him? Sorry, there are prying eyes. Come this way.
I just start slowly following you backwards. Like, I don't know what we're talking about.
I don't know
okay.
why they're moving away. I can hear them.
Did you tell him?
Oh, what? This is actually the first time I've realized fully that you were the one that he talked about. So, Tell him about what?
I'm no stranger to having feelings that I failed to express before it was too late. Did you?
Knarh blinks. Mean how I'll kill him if he turns into a demon? Wait, is this how Laza thinks that you and Marlowe should be a thing?
Oh no, very different. This is far more apparent.
It's the same thing, Knarh.
Did you never tell
Marlowe
him?
shouts from 10
Blinks.
feet away.
It's the same thing.
For real, why are they doing this? I can hear everything you're saying. Just talk about it here.
You should tell him before it's too late, if you get the chance.
Goodness, no.
Yes, admit your feelings.
Saved that
It's-
guy
it's,
from being killed by monsters.
You can say...
It's girls, Cornelius. They tend to walk off and have one-on-one RP sessions.
Yes,
You
I
can
know
say-
how women work. I was one for a time.
You can
Everyone
say
keeps
whatever
trying-
you want, Miss Knarh.
Everyone here keeps trying to do matchmaker.
It's clear as
First-
day.
First, you guys think me and Knarh are trying to get together. Now you think Knarh and Telry.
There's
There's
no,
not.
there's no
He
way you'd
never
be able.
would've-
There's no way you'd be able to please her anyway.
First off, the lad did not have any interest in me.
Hey.
He was more like a brother than anything. So,
Well, it wouldn't matter anyway. His penis is dead.
Mm-hmm. What?
Hey.
His what?
Yeah.
Well, okay, that goes for Chrome too, technically.
Yes, but look at him.
Oh, I thought we were talking about Telry.
Look at him push off the
That
blade.
would have been hilarious. I would have laughed.
We
Not
can't
the
even
things
see him though. I don't know. He's hugging his hog, bro.
Yeah, he's just grasping his hog. Anyway, I'm taking you to the next map now.
Please.
We should, yeah. Our sanity has expired.
And, you know, wow, look at that. 2 minutes ago. Amazing.
he made it through the time question. For now.
Quick, fool. Play me a diddle to restore my sanity.
All this time and wasting it still.
During all those questions, I was trying to look for a book for Cornelius Blackfire. Yeah.
Oh.
Look for him?
Yeah, about him.
Definitely found a god that I like.
No, not for him. About him.
It's kind of sweet. Like, how are you feeling?
Like reading a diary. Was that towards me? Hello?
Wait, are you asking me if something was towards you?
Yeah.
If you were, I don't remember.
Oh. You just said how are you? And I was like,
Oh, no, I wasn't asking you how you're doing. I was asking, it was like, I was saying that was what you were doing towards Cornelius, which was very sweet.
I was reading his diary.
All right, gather around, idiots.
There we go.
Interesting. Is that a mountain?
You can't see that yet. It's behind a door.
Oh, I see.
Get over
there's
here.
a door.
Is that a door?
Get the fuck
door?
over here. Now, listen.
Amazing door ahead.
I've got to go deal with all of this fiend shit. Whatever the trunk man was saying. So let me give you a quick rundown. These are the soul shrouds. Direct links to the different traveler souls that are currently active, at least according to what the library can see. You are welcome to peruse them. However, keep in mind you may not speak with the people on the other side, nor cross the shroud, not without great risk. So don't do it while I'm gone, even though there's no way I'll know if you did it or not.
Before you leave, Cornelius, can you paint in people's heads?
But
They send.
I can't cure apostaphasia, if that's what you mean.
No, just send a sending spell, but visual instead of verbal.
I mean, no. But you could do that with the dream spell.
I was just gonna ask if you could point out where the books were that I was asking for, so that if.
Don't worry,
don't bother
I'll
you.
be back and then we'll go find them.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Seriously,
you.
don't talk to any of them. Or enter.
Are you sure?
Don't do it, even though I can't possibly know if you did it or not.
It sounds terribly dangerous.
You
We
better
will.
not. Teleport.
He said he'll be back and he'll show us how to not go through the fucking
Hey,
void.
no. You won't
The shade.
walk it through the shroud.
The shroud, yeah. Let's wait till he gets back, but let's
Hey, you're the
I
one
just look
looking
at
for the
people.
experience. Like, if he's trying to reverse psychology us, I feel like you're the one who should, try the experience. You know what I'm saying?
You know,
Did nobody else hear me
you
say
convinced
teleport
me.
as the verbal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I made myself laugh. Continue.
Oh, I guess we've got.
I mean,
it
we
all.
can look though, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's the point.
don't fucking even get the slightest hint of saying something to one of these people.
I'm not going to say anything. That sounds like a stupid thing to do anyway.
Wait, no, hold on. My legs are working. Help me.
Oh,
Oh,
I got
yes.
you. I got you.
Wait, my
I can't move. I don't have ownership of your token, Mr. Sweet.
It's okay. Me
My
and
legs
him,
aren't working. My leg.
we're conjoined at the hips at the moment. Don't worry.
Let's all go in different directions.
Let's open this door.
I
Click,
guess,
click.
I guess we are going in all different directions.
Lovely.
Oh, actually,
Oh, we can do whatever we want. We don't-
Cameraman Chrome, could you move to the right, please?
I'm here.
You see a door that says this. Bound and broken.
Must be broken.
Sounds painful, but I
Must be
suppose some
broken.
people are into it.
Actually,
through the
Telry
door.
had a bit of an experience similar to that.
Okay, as you open the door, you can see a shrouded portal that seems to be looking at a jungle. As you stand in its presence, you can kind of feel the wind of the jungle, the constant cacophony in the background, and you can see a city of glass in the distance. You can see that there are several travelers walking on the road through the jungle together.
Can I attempt to get? I'm not gonna get closer, but can I try to perceive what they look like?
Sure, make a perception check.
Nice.
Can I fucking what's it called? Can I
The music.
IP like track them with nature? Give me their IP.
Hacking. Hacksaws.
All right. As you take a perception check, you get a pretty good look at him. You see this man. You see this man. You see this woman. You see this man.
That's a cool man.
You see this woman.
Ooh.
The church would
You
have a
see
field day with
this
this
man.
lot. They're like the very picture of apostates, if you think about it.
That one looked kind of weird.
Kind of handsome. Got some nice features.
So I guess this is.
You can also see that there is a frog on one of the people's shoulders that looks like this.
Anyone ever read children's books, illustrated ones?
No, not too many out in the woods.
Well, the characters in them are usually very distinct. Definitely, they have traits that make them instantly recognizable from the others. You know, for ease of children
All of
being
a
able
sudden,
to tell them apart.
One of the people will look up and say,
Do you hear that? Sounds like exposition.
It starts to
shouldn't talk
whisper.
to them.
I think they can hear us.
We shouldn't talk to them. Let's go.
Mazakine, do you, smell anything? Ah! Fine. I'll sniff.
I'll fart. Yeah. I get going.
Aha, you can't do that. We don't digest anymore.
Oh shit. You're right.
Drop some silver salt and you won't.
Yeah,
Throw a Dolan from the Barrel King.
If you do, I'll flag for PvP and fucking kill you, like right now.
Here, take this.
How would you know you're on the other side?
yeah, still whispering to Zwick. Here, before you, or any of us, try anything, mind if I take a quick moment to meditate?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. He will attempt to primeval conscious, see if he can extend it towards the portal.
all right.
What's your AC, Kraig?
It's a 16.
He's really getting this. Oh my god.
I'm not going through it, and I'm not talking. I'm just sitting.
He's just looking.
Oh shit, can I Knarh some fucking exposure through it? Hold on.
Don't.
Make them-
No,
make
wait,
them
no.
explode.
All right.
We're playing fire over here.
So after 10 minutes, you reach out with primeval conscious. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. I have to call a session there.
Oh.
Can you tell me which person that you reach out to?
Does any of them have druidic marks?
Yes.
That one.
Great. Well, that's it. We have to stop there.
All right.
I wanted to see it myself.
Marlowe flags for PvP.
All right. It's
Yeah, I'm
official.
probably killing you.
Look, all right. You're looking at the sand place, and technically, there's 10 minutes. So you guys could have, looked for like 10 minutes.
That's a lot of fucking damage. That's a lot of rounds in 10 minutes.
You don't know. All right.
I don't know, for
We're
10
kneeling
minutes?
for
Or am I
them.
just
That-
drooling at a portal for 10 minutes?
And there's a big old hog between me and you. All right, buddy. Have you seen its thighs? There's no way you can see me
I did
past those thighs.
5,000 damage in 10 minutes. I hope you have 5,001 HP.
I'm going to stand over here.
I'm
Sweet.
the cameraman. I
Sweet. Jesus Christ.
just view this battle.
He said, "Don't go through it and don't talk." I did. Followed the rules exact.
Yeah, he's just
No,
licking.
because he will be back and then
just-
tell us how to properly communicate with people.
Gruul is just
Remember
doing
that?
the Skyrim
He did not
pickpocket
explain any of
without
that.
the pickpocketing. He's just looking.
He just said, "Definitely don't do that. That would be bad. Don't do it." Again, remind you, don't do it.
He practically gave us the mechanics in character.
Not really. He just said, "Don't do it."
You know how tempted I was to push you in?
I
Please
I
no.
congratulate you. All right, on your
If you had pushed him in, I would have laughed so fucking hard, dude.
Hey, Marley,
Kind of
he went
broken.
inside. He went inside.
Found a broken
You
Yola,
available
a
on,
new party member. Man,
Sweet
Hey,
Jesus.
Laza, should I leave the party? No, Marlowe. There's so much good you can do.
so much good.
I'm leaving the fucking party.
Slash leave.
Slash G quit.
Slash G quit. Oh
I'm gonna
fuck.
find
like
all the
this has
crayons in
potential
this
to be-
library and put them
Bro.
in my asshole.
Bro, I feel like at this point I'm about to get slash ban space Gruul.
All we need is Chamber.
Some shit happens where it's like, oh, you fucking now you can't do the thing where it's like, let's talk together as a party and communicate with one of these people and like do it in a safe space under the under the guidance of a lich. And it's like,
I'm not trying to
roll
contact no
portals.
one. That's not how the ability works. It doesn't contact
Dude,
nobody.
Kraig, you
I will
extend
kill
your conscience.
Gruul.
You extend your conscience towards them.
I
Bro.
We'll
understand.
kill Gruul and his mother.
I'll kill Gruul and his mom.
Hello?
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Yeah, look, all right. It's never worked that way. But, well, I guess with the dragon.
It's
definitely
Yeah,
worked
it's
with
never
the
worked that
dragon.
way before. Except all the other times before it did work
Except
that
every
way.
time. He's making communications, guys. It's in character.
He did it.
It's fine. He made Yes. The next section.
We've been to the
He made
cities. Now
communication.
begins the communication.
Okay, so next up we have some fan art from Waymaker doing more journal entries of talking about her master.
Yay, Ratman.
You see the tears on the paper? Aw.
Aw, big sad.
Oh, big sad.
I hide my
Marlowe's
sad
wife
behind
is
a mask of laughter.
Good.
Okay, but yeah.
Good.
Yes, that's all it needs.
Libertarian Gruul, yes. Away.
Alrighty.
Ah, yes. Chamber watching.
Alrighty, guys. Very good. I will have to do some arrangements for this fucking shit.
Chamber's the only one who needs to be kidnapped.
Guys, he's the
Control.
only one.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Good game, guys. That will
Good
conclude
game.
tonight's sessione.
Very
Sessione.
good.
What the good
Sessione.
sessione. Alright, I'm probably gonna hang out in the Discord for a little bit. For like a mini community night, but I'm not gonna be there too long. Because I'm pretty
Right.
tired and hungry. But I'll probably go down there, hang out with people for a bit, and then I'll probably head off after that.
Icky.
But yeah, I'll see you guys down there. See you guys next time.
Bye.